We'll be starting in just two or 3 minutes, guys. I just want to give a chance for more people to join. All right, guys. I don't think we have too many people joining today. Landon, let me know if you're still there. Welcome, Intergross 507. Welcome, Austin. Um, yeah, so unfortunately, yesterday's live stream got cut short. My let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, I hope so. I do want more people's input on the league because we are really at a point where I think somebody else is backing out of the league every week. It just there's like one less person, and I don't know what to do at this point because it's really down to me and three other guys that are showing up, and I can tell it's just getting harder and harder for people to want to like stick this out. Now we have 17 people like who officially joined. We got a new somebody else joined. The thing is, nobody's showing up, and you know I can't blame anybody for wanting to back out because it's tough to ask people to sit through and race, and there's only like three other people in the room. Um, and let's be honest, it is being dominated by like one or two guys. Everyone else is like another level behind, and it does kind of turn people away, right? Now I'll stick it out as long as people want, but I don't want people to feel obligated like we have to keep doing this because some of these guys may prefer to go and do other stuff like or other races, right? um I'm even open to finding a league to join. It's not that easy to find a league. I've been looking around. I don't know how to find a good league. Like it has to be on a Friday night for me, and I'm not seeing any leagues running cup races on Friday nights. I've seen a couple of truck series. I really don't want to join a truck series because oh yeah, Silas next Jimmy Johnson. Hey man, I it is what it is, right? But what was I saying? Oh, okay. I don't want to be in a truck series. I've done it before. Trucks at a lot of the tracks that I enjoy are more or less wide open throttle. I'm not crazy about the truck package, and that type of racing. I'll do it during the week, but to be part of a league doing that, that's why I'd rather do Cup. I am willing to join Xfinity, but okay, just joined again. Did I miss any? No, I just started talking about the league and how things are going. We have a decent number of people, right? There's like 17 people, I think. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Yeah, there's 17 members, right? But nobody's showing up. And let's see. Cool Cat, what's up, man? Unfortunate past couple of weeks. Give me details. I know some of you guys are not enjoying the league. I don't blame anybody. If you feel like this isn't something you want to stick out, I totally understand. It's a lot to ask people to show up and then just run laps against four people. I don't want it to be a bad experience for anybody. I just want people to have a good time. And I wanted something I could be part of on a Friday night. Let's see, got to regroup from Homestead. I've been off my game. Yeah, look, man. We're going to start adding AI, by the way. So, I think we should add 10 AI cars, right? To me, 10 is a good number just to make it feel somewhat, filled, and not too many where if there's that they might cause an issue, right? So I feel like we can start off by adding 10. Let's see, Landon, I really enjoy it, but I've also won the past two races, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's always better when you win, but like, for me personally, I'm okay, right? I knew coming in I wasn't going to be winning races, and I just want to have fun and participate. And we've had, every race so far has been caution free. Obviously, we only have a few guys, but the fact that some of these guys have at least held their own to where they're not causing a caution, um, that's a good thing, right? Anyway, I want to add 10 AI cars. And I think we should just set the AI to 100 or something. Um, I might do some testing. Let's see. You'll have to let me know what to set the AI at. I'll do some testing too. Um, I'm not sure what a good number is, right? You gotta, when you test, don't you have to do a full green flag run. To me, from let's see, I don't personally think the AI should be faster than us. It should be a human person winning the race. I get it, but I can tell you, at most tracks, I think 100 is really. At some tracks, you'd be shocked how easy 100 is. It is so all over the place. So I think that, yeah, we got to do a little testing. But if you are gonna test, do a green flag run. You make sure you start in front of the AI, right? Set it to 100 and see what happens. And then we can tune from there. So start up front, because you don't want on a restart to have to deal with the AI. We want the AI to start behind everybody. Um, so we set it to 100. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to test, I'm going to try to do some testing as well. But like you guys know, my schedule is really hectic. I can't promise anything, but that's where I would start. I would put 10 AI cars. Don't put a full field, because you're not going to get the same experience. 10 cars. Make sure you start in front of them. Set it to 100 and go. And do a full green flag run. Now, if after 10 laps you're destroying the field, then I would stop and then bump it up a little bit and try again. But you want to make sure you get a full green flag run in there where you go through a full tire wear, because you want to see how the AI reacts and how they spread out. If you end up lapping the AI really easy, obviously that's too easy. Um, but it is really all over the place. There is no setting. That's the one thing I wish iRacing would focus a little bit more on the AI, making it more consistent from track to track, where you can just set it to a certain setting and you're going to get a similar experience at every track. I know that's very hard to do, but that is one of the things that usually you see, like in a video game, that the developers usually get that right for the most part. Usually you're going to get a similar experience. Hey, what's up, Bobby Birch? So if we can actually get, like, we got 17 people signed up. If some of these guys actually can just show up and race, that would be cool. But it's, it doesn't seem to be happening. Every week we show up, it's like 5 guys. It sucks. I believe Landon can help you out getting you in the Discord. I don't do a lot of Discord. The Discord is dead. No one posts anything. Yeah, look, we can't even get people to come race. So I don't know. I think that Kansas race was the best race of the season, and that race got me excited for Charlotte. Yes, amazing race. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm glad people got to see that, because a lot of people have been killing this new car. And I'm not one of these people that hates the new car. I do think it needs a lot of work. I'm not good with Discord, lol. Never used it before this league. Yeah, I've used Discord, but like personal one-on-one sessions with people. Uh, So yeah. But speaking of the race, yes, it was an amazing race. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really could have given it a higher rating. It's just when you look at the race from beginning to end, I do have to take into account that I forgot how many cautions there were. There were a lot of cautions. And for me, every time a caution comes out, it kind of dilutes the race a little bit. I'm not a fan of some of these restarts. I know a lot of people do find some of them exciting, and they are exciting to a point. But when you end up seeing restart after restart after restart, it does start to turn into a bit of a shit show. You start seeing people going four wide, pulling crazy moves. So the best part of the race was the end, right? Because it went green to the end. We didn't have to sit through a green white checker crazy finish. It was great because you got to see Denny Hamlin catching Larson, catching him and catching him, and yeah, I know that the final pass was a bit questionable. I don't think it was dirty. I think it was just racing. I do think he could have given Larson a little bit more room. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the last lap. And it's, these guys are going for the win. So can I really blame him? It wasn't dirty, but it was kind of, he could have given him a little bit of room. He had the nose right up against his inner rear quarter panel. And what he's doing there is he's forcing Larson to have a perfect corner. And he knew Larson was loose. So, yeah, it was... you could take it either way. I didn't have a big problem with it, but it was an amazing finish. It went going green. The long green flag runs. That's racing at its best, and it's very old school. So, amazing race. All right, let's see. If we got more 1.5 tracks, that would be good. But if you look at the next 6 races, I mean, we had Dover, we had Kansas, and the next 6 races are great tracks as well. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to be the best stretch maybe of the season, and we're going to get to see some really good racing. And that's where I think this new car does shine. I think NASCAR should add more horsepower, but look, what I tell people is you got to forget about this 900 horsepower thing. That's in the past. I know people don't want to hear it, but just being realistic, and I just, people need to accept that it's not coming back. For whatever reason, NASCAR refuses to do it. So, I think they can add I think 75 more horsepower would really help at the short tracks, right? Even if they said we want to leave the horsepower where it is for 1.5 miles, as you can see, it does work, right? There are other little things they can do to the car to make it even better, right? But I do think the 1.5 miles and even the 2 mile package is not bad. The problems with the car is the short tracks, right? The smaller tracks. Adding more power is going to make it more of a handling type of situation for the drivers. That's what we want, and gives them that opportunity. And it also will add tire wear, right? So, to me, I look at that as a compromise. Like if I was the owners and NASCAR or the drivers, I'd be saying, look, we get you're not going to go back to 900 horsepower. So don't waste time arguing about stuff that's not going to happen. However, maybe you can convince NASCAR and say, look, how about only at the short tracks we add another 75 horsepower and see what happens. And then maybe reduce just a little bit more downforce. I think that, I'm telling people, you would be surprised how much of a difference that can make. You don't have to have 900 horsepower. Like, those days are over. So, that's my thought on that. So let's see. Cool Cat says like 70% of the schedule is 1.5 miles. We don't need more. We need better racing at other types. I do agree with that. Um, I am. I'm not. I still hate the idea that they destroyed one of the iconic racetracks of NASCAR in NASCAR history, which is Atlanta. I think a repave of that track, it might not have produced the greatest racing maybe in the first year or two, but I really do think at some point would be, and this car has proven that at those type of tracks it puts on a great show. I would have loved to see this car at the old Atlanta. Also, not that long ago, people hated Kansas. And now it's fucking one of the best tracks. Same thing with Homestead. So you got to take these things into account. But yeah, I think they do need to improve the mile. I mean the short tracks and the road courses, right? And I think adding another 75 horsepower would help immensely. And like I said, you don't have to go to 900 horsepower. And I think people are stuck on that. They're just like, well, let's go back to what it used to be, 900 horsepower. Well, 900 horsepower may not be what you think it is in this car. It may be overkill, and it might actually ruin the racing. Add another 75 horsepower. And remember, this year they didn't go up crazy. They added more than what it was last year. And now it's what, 670? So, and it improved a lot of the racing. And anyway, those are my thoughts on that. If the race was like stage 1, it would be better. Yeah, I don't remember what happened there. Personally, very mixed on the next gen car. The dirty air is killing the racing, and the tires and tire wear still sucks. Well, that's the thing. At some tracks, you're right, but at other tracks, it's been perfect. Auto Club, Kansas. I mean, I think the tire wear at Kansas was pretty good, right? It wasn't perfect. I would like to see a little bit more tire wear, but on a long run, it was pretty damn good. And we have been getting more or less consistent great racing at 1.5 miles. So, like I said, man, people have this idea, right? And I see a lot of this, especially on social media, where people are just like, this new car sucks, whatever, it's over. They give up right away on something. Sometimes you don't throw something out, you fix it. There are so many things you can do to any car to change the performance and the characteristics of the way the car is handled. They just have to keep trying things. So they did make a few changes to the short track package, and at some tracks it did get better. Richmond sucks. Like it sucked for the past few years, even with the previous generation car, and it was really amazing racing this year. So sometimes, some of those changes have made a difference at some tracks, but then at other tracks really didn't notice much of a difference, right? So it's a work in progress. You got to give this thing a chance, and you got to and NASCAR needs to keep trying things, right? That's my point. So let's see. The short track package still needs work, but overall, I love this car. Yeah, I'm a fan of the car, but okay, look. Besides the short track stuff and needing more horsepower, right? The other thing I do not like about this car is I don't want to hear these guys shifting at ovals. There's something just not quite right with that, and it hasn't improved the racing. Like, if the shifting was, you would see people like doing slingshot passes because downshifting, and then, that would be exciting. But that's not what's happening. See, the shifting, it doesn't do anything if everyone is doing it. It just it's there's something not right with it. And other drivers have mentioned it, and Denny Hamlin talked about it, and I agree. You gotta either change the gearing or eliminate the fifth gear and just get the four gears going and gear it like the old car. Something. You got to do something. I don't think it's good to have these guys shifting on an oval. And it's not really like the only time you even notice that they're shifting is when you get an in-car camera view and you can hear them shift. And then it's like, even the announcers, right? At one point, who was it that was shifting during the race? I don't remember, but then you hear Kurt Busch or somebody said, "Oh, he's shifting." So I don't know if it was Kyle Busch or somebody on the track when they had an in-car camera. You can hear him shift. Now that doesn't mean he was shifting on every corner or Logano was shifting somebody, but there's something not right with that, and I'm not a fan of that. And NASCAR needs to do something about it. We need at least 1.7 to 3 seconds of tire fall off, depending on the track. I agree, but you got to yeah, you did say depending on the track, because I was gonna say every track's different. You know, there some tracks where even before we used to get like 3 seconds tire fall off. That's actually pretty rare. Like back in the old days, yeah, you would see that a lot of places, but yeah, they do need more tire fall off. I do agree with that, but that's something they can keep working on. Bobby87, welcome. I think the ending of the Texas race in 2015 when Jimmy ran down Brad and of course passed him clean. Yeah, great fucking racing, man. And see, this whole green white checkered shit and all these fucking cautions is like that has helped ruin a lot of the racing. And the best racing we've seen this year has been has been races where we've seen a lot of green flag racing and even green flag pit stops, right? Like for a while, green flag pit stops became like something that was rare. And at Richmond, we got long green flag runs with green flag pit stops, Auto Club, and here at Kansas. So 3 of the best races we've seen this year have had what? Long green flag runs with cars spreading out, cars getting lapped. The type of thing that this new generation of fan doesn't like. They're the ones complaining, oh, this is boring. NASCAR needs to stop listening to that and get back to the basics. The 3 best races we've had this year have all had long green flag runs. And, you know, when you think about it, it just makes this race that much better that in spite of all those cautions, like throughout the race, it still had long green flag runs. And it still had green flag pit stops. And it still had the last, stage where it ran all the way to the end without a caution. And we got to see Hamlin catch Larson and pass him. Great fucking racing. So keep that in mind. And that's what I've always preached. We need old school, long green flag attrition races. And the 3 best races, in my opinion, this year so far have been Auto Club, Richmond, and now Kansas. It's just, we need more of that. I forgot about the road courses need work. Yeah, but the road courses go hand in hand with the short track. I think whatever they do to make the short tracks better, it's going to help road courses as well. Because it's really, they're similar. Because you get a lot of break points on most road courses. So I think if you can fix the short tracks, that will also help the road courses, I think. All right, let's see. Bobby Birch says, last lap was 100% on Denny, just like someone said. Just because it wasn't on purpose doesn't mean it was no one's fault. Like I said, look, I'm sort of in between. Like, I don't think it was super dirty, but I do think he could have given him room. Like, that's what's going to happen. And these guys, they race each other and they always stuck glued to each other, right? So he could have pulled down and given him more room, and it would have been better to see them just who was going to win that battle. I don't know. Like, I'm conflicted. I don't think it was dirty, but I do think he could have given him more room. I guess that's the way I look at it. Cool Cat says we also need a worse brake package like we used to have. That's a big part of what screwed short tracks than people realize. Yeah, this brake package is just like fucking. These modern brakes, they're too good, and those brakes are massive. Maybe they could put a smaller caliper. Just leave the rotor. You can leave the rotor the same size and then put a slightly smaller caliper with less surface area on the brake shoes, right? So it'll probably wear more and be harder to stop. There are things you can do to these cars to affect all of these things, but NASCAR has to be willing to do that. So then you, for short tracks, then you make sure, or road courses, you tell them, this is going to be the brake package that we approve, right? And I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't want too much nannying around, but yeah, if they did something like that, it would help. Austin says, damn shame what they're going to do to Fontana. Yeah, one of the best tracks we have now, that's going to go. I don't know, man. Cool Cat says, I completely agree about Old Atlanta. It's a damn shame they ruined it. Probably my favorite all-time track. Me too. I just wish they would have seen what this car would do on that track before they did all this, which was dumb. It's one of the worst tracks now. I do not enjoy that conga line bullshit. Let's see. I think we need at least 750 to 800 horsepower. Seems to be the sweet spot. Well, right now it's what, 670? So it would take another. Well, actually, 750 is right at that mark. I said if they add another 75, that would be good. Another 75 would bring it to actually 745 horse, right? So I'm pretty much what I was saying. I don't think you need a 800 or more. I know it sounds good on paper. Everybody, oh, more power, more power. But I just think realistically, right? They can add another 75 and not really change the expense of the engines. They've already admitted they're not saving money. Yeah. That's pretty much where I am. Like, if you add another 75 or 80 horsepower, you're at 750. That's good. Would be good. I got a new avatar. What do you think? It's my favorite driver. I can't see that well. Oh, is that the number 8? Boo! I'm just kidding. Hey man, everybody's got a favorite driver. Cool Cat says, I do think the next gen has potential, but I'm still baffled about a lot of decisions with it. Yeah, look, man, keep this in mind. We are still just in the middle of season 2. And not even the middle. We haven't even hit the middle point. This car is they're still learning. And remember when it first came out, all the issues they had with this car? You're not hearing about a lot of these issues. They're working on it. They're making it better. It's never going to be perfect. So they just have to keep working at it. I guess, okay, let's see. The shift, hold on. It's the sequential shifting. Even if they remove the 5th gear, they would just use 3rd, 4th instead. I disagree with that. If you remove the 5th gear and you only had 4 gears, you change the gearing to match like the old gearboxes, right? They had gear packages, and if you couldn't just shift from fourth down shift to third at an oval. You just couldn't do it the way that those cars were geared. If you geared these cars the same way, they would behave the same way. The fact that it's sequential versus an H pattern is not going to make a difference. If you remove a gear, now the other gears are going to be spaced out even more. The reason you can downshift from fifth to fourth is because the gearing isn't that far apart. The more gears you add, the closer the gearing is going to be, right? So if you remove the fifth gear and you change the gear, then you change the 1 through 4 gears, and you make it more like the old car. You're not going to be able to downshift on an oval going from fourth to third. You're going to have a problem. So getting rid of the fifth gear and just going to 4, locking out the fifth gear somehow, doing whatever, that would help. But you have to change the gear. Let's see. The only way to fix it is to have a rule against it. Well, yeah, a gear rule. That we've had gear packages in the past, right? That's not uncommon. So if they have a gear package for a particular track, they can just mandate it, and everybody's running the same gearbox or the gears. And if you only had those 4 gears, you run what you got. So, yeah, I think that would help. I don't want to see these guys shifting at a fucking oval. It just doesn't. And like I said, it doesn't change the racing. Like, remember Worldwide Technology track last year, and everybody was shifting. Everybody's doing it at the same point. You didn't see any slingshot passes or anything like that. Everybody's doing it. So the shifting isn't doing anything. It's just, I hate it. I don't. You shouldn't be shifting on an oval. Bobby Birch says, I don't know why I like Martinsville. I can't say anything about Richmond since I saw less than half the race. Yeah, you missed a good race, man. A great race. Martinsville wasn't terrible. I mean, I know some people complained. I felt like Martinsville was similar to other Martinsville races, right? It wasn't a bad race for sure, but I know a lot of people were sort of mid, right? They kept calling it mid. I could see that, but it wasn't any worse than any races from the past. I thought it was fine. Cool Cat, I'm 100% positive Denny meant to hit Larson just like Chicagoland. You know what? I just feel like he could have given Larson more room. I agree with that 100%. He was just going to keep his nose right next to his quarter panel. He was just going to keep it there. And he said, well, if we make contact, it's not going to be because of me. It's going to be because of you. And that's what happened, because Larson was loose, and he I think he bounced off the wall a bit, and there was just no room there. So technically, Hamlin didn't go into him, but he didn't give him room. So I'm not going to argue with people who think that it was dirty. I'm just saying I thought it was a racing deal, but I'd be pissed if I was Larson. I mean, I guess. Bobby Birch, Captain Sleeveless is doing 100% race on NASCAR 21. More power to him. That's crazy. You couldn't pay me to do that. It is Kyle Busch. What do you think about the number move to the front after season 1? I told everybody from the moment they announced it, I was okay with it, and I told people, because everybody made a big stink about it. I told people it's not going to be a big deal. I'm telling you, I said by the time the halfway point of the season comes, nobody's going to complain. Now, am I saying that everybody's happy about it? I'm not saying that, but it's not a big deal. I haven't seen people complain about it anywhere. So, I think I was proven right. And I told you guys, by the halfway point of last year, nobody was talking about the number movement. I think it looks good on the car. And it gives these designers a lot of room to play to come up with some cool paint schemes. Some of them don't use the space very well, but that's on them. That's their fault. But I like the number movement. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I guarantee you there's going to be a couple of people that they're butthurt about it. It is what it is. You're not going to please everybody, but I have no problem with it. And I predicted people wouldn't be complaining about it, and they're not. Not for the. I mean, maybe if you go on Reddit somewhere, or there's a community of people complaining about it. I don't know. So I'm okay with it. Landon says part of the problem with shifting is there's less penalty for a bad corner because revs are always high. If someone misses a corner, they just downshift and lose momentum, harder to pass. That's absolutely true. You don't. The car. It actually helps the car turn in the corner. That's not what you want, right? You don't want it to be easier. So downshifting actually plants the car, helps it turn in the corners. So if everybody's doing it, it's just harder to pass. It's harder to. That's why you got to get rid of it. And Denny Hamlin actually mentioned it, and he made a good point. These cars shouldn't be doing that. NASCAR needs to do something about it. If you can lock out that fifth gear and just have the 4 gears and mandate whatever gearing they want for each track, whatever. But that downshifting, yeah, that's another reason why these short tracks are getting worse. Like the package isn't working there. Like that's a big reason. These guys are downshifting and they're biting into the corner. Short track racing is supposed to be a handful. And it's not. These guys are just shifting, and let's see. There were races on iRacing where you could use third and fourth gear. Richmond did that with the fixed setup. I'm also pretty sure that last year at Martinsville, Ross was using third and fourth too. That's why you mandate a specific gear. And I think iRacing is, believe me, I've heard people complain about it, like the gearing. They've actually especially the fixed races. There are people that are like, doesn't feel right, like with the gearing. So that's why you mandate at specific tracks. There's a special gear package. You run that, and that's it. And it's just not nowhere near as common, right? With this 5-speed. Everybody's shifting everywhere. It's Hamlin didn't give an inch. No, he didn't. That's my point. Technically, I don't think it was dirty, but I just felt like I gave you this much room. And he knew that Larson was loose. So he's like, he's going to wreck himself. And that's it. So he could have given him more room. He could have pulled down to the bottom just a little bit. And that would have been better. I would like to see them get down to the final, checkered flag. But, yeah, this is the type of racing these guys are doing now. They're just not giving an inch. Cool Cat says 1.5 miles might be different. But at the short tracks, you can use third and fourth. I don't know, man. We can go back and forth. But we can agree, I think, that with this 5-speed, we're seeing shifting way more than we used to. So even if you could point out a couple places where it actually did happen, it's nowhere near what's going on now. These guys are fucking shifting almost everywhere. They got to do something about it. Let's see. I love them numbers move to the front. Yeah, I like it. It looks good on this car. And not if the gears are taller. Engine will be out of power if gears are taller with only 4 gears. But that's what I'm trying to say. This is why you mandate specific gears. You can't let these teams just run whatever gear they want. And I know some people are going to frown on that, but NASCAR has always, this is not new. They've mandated rear gears, they've mandated transmission gears in the past at specific tracks. They've mandated things before. So if you have a specific gearing where these cars, are more of a handful in the corners and you can't downshift without having a serious problem, do that. You got to do something. This idea that they're going to go back to the old transmission, that's not going to happen. See, that's why I don't waste time with that stuff, because there's some things they can work on and change. There's other things we're not going back. This next gen car is more representative of the type of cars people drive today. That's what they wanted. And for better or for worse, I mean, this is why things like people saying we need 900 horsepower. We need to go back to the old shifter. No, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So maybe we can fix the gears, have it where they can't shift, downshift, or maybe if they do, it's a penalty, right? It's just going to fuck the car up. I don't know. That's my thought on it. Cool Cat says they could artificially fix it for sure, but I think it would take more than just removing the fifth gear. Still, though, it's just another problem NASCAR has created for themselves. There's a lot of things you can do. I'm not saying just remove the fifth gear, but like I said, if you mandate gears 1 through 4 and eliminate the fifth gear, you put them in a box. Bobby Birch, he was side drafting so hard, Larson said it felt like he was hitting him. Well, you know what? Larson isn't doing anything about it. And I hate to say it, Larson's a bit of a pussy. I've seen him get roughed up before, and he's like, oh, that's just racing. And people like that about him, right? But guess what? Now when people want to rough him up, they're going to do it. At the end of the day, that a little bit of that is on him. This whole generation of NASCAR drivers doesn't impress me that much. It's just the way that they look. I'm an old guy, right? I'm not a kid anymore. So maybe it's a generational thing. But these guys don't respect each other. They don't give each other any fucking they don't give an inch. And a lot of people like that. And I would like to see a bit more give and take and respect. But every fucking restart, these guys are all over each other. Nobody's giving an inch. I was frustrated watching the race. Suarez started top 5, and then fucking Dave Blaney dive bombed underneath him, and then it caused Suarez to end up all the way in the back. So that stuff is annoying to me, but these guys are all doing it. There's nobody above criticism. They're all doing it. So I think it is a generational thing. And I don't know. What do you do about it? Like, these guys, they're all pussies. I don't know what to say, man. These guys run each other over. They talk. Another thing, I saw a video of Chase Elliott walking by Bowl Cut Boy, and he's like, oh, somebody needed to do it. Well, why didn't you fucking do it? This is, that's how I feel about it. If you're a grown man and you have a problem with somebody, then handle it. Don't go and cry to somebody else to do your dirty work for you. And that's what I feel like. All these fucking, this whole generation of guys, they're just weird. Speaking of that, did anyone see when Chastain went to congratulate Hamlin after he won? I'm like, aren't these guys supposed to be enemies? Well, here's the thing. Chastain is a fucking politician. He'll smile. He'll tell you he's sorry. He'll pat you on the back. and act like he's your friend, and then he'll fucking run you over again. And this is the thing. This is, to me, it makes Denny Hamlin look bad because Hamlin. I mean, look, I get it. He's putting him on the spot, so he kind of accepted the congratulations, but it's totally like he's trying to manipulate him like a fucking politician. It's so phony, and that's what rubs me the wrong way about Chastain. Like, if you and Hamlin are fucking enemies, don't go congratulating him after he won. What are you doing? It's like, it just comes across to me like a fucking phony politician. And Chase Elliott, right? He's got this golden boy image. Everybody loves him. But then you see him, oh, somebody had to do it. Why are you pushing Bowl Cut Boy to do something? That's the thing about Gragson. To me, he's very immature. I know he's got fans, but he's an immature guy. And you could tell he's like, he lets other people wind him up and manipulate him. Because you could hear it. And after the post race, like, he's talking about nobody's doing anything and people told me this. He mentioned some names too, by the way. So clearly people know he's easy to manipulate. So they kind of went to him and gave him the elbow and said, maybe you should fucking take care of this guy. And he already had a chip on his shoulder about Chastain, about Talladega. And really, in all honesty, Chastain did not really do much to Noah. Yeah, he raced him pretty high up into the wall, but he did still have some room. So it's questionable. I don't think he really did anything to piss off anybody for doing it. Like it's just, but that's what happens when you build a bad reputation for yourself and you do shit like that. People are gonna automatically just assume that you tried to take them out. And Noah is like, I don't like either one of those guys. They can beat the shit out of each other every weekend for all I care. It was entertaining to me, but it just, that's what I saw. He's being manipulated by other people. Forget about the fact that he's just a rookie, but he just has this, he comes across as very immature. He's a very immature guy. It's not his first interaction with people that turns violent. So that's my thought on it. Anyway, I don't know why it just came to my mind. Let's see. I do agree, though, we need to remove shifting. Yeah, there are things they can do. They got to do it. Bobby Birch, what if the guy that stopped Gragson was a bodyguard that No, he's not he's a NASCAR official. I just think he just, he's a security guy. He's not going to just stand there, right? But I just felt like either you should have got between them before, like when as soon as Noah started grabbing his suit, he should have got in and broke it up. He should have just pulled them apart and said, no, we're not going there. That would have been better. The problem is he let it kept going, and then when Ross got that shot in, then he broke him up, and it's like, it's fucked up. Like, Noah has to be boiling because he's got to see this for the rest of his life. It's going to be on social media. It's going to be a meme. The fact that he's got that stupid bowl cut, getting punched. He is like a poster child of like a high school bully. He just looks like one of those, the bully guy from The Simpsons. That guy. To me, that's Noah Gragson. So, yeah. Like you said in your Kansas video, the give and take era is over. Yeah, it's just over. Even the veterans in the series, they're doing it because it's like, well, everybody's doing it. I have to do it too. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in the back. Yeah, it's over. Cool Cat. I feel like people are too hard on Gragson. If that dude didn't step in, it would have been a different story. We'll never know. Unless they fight, we'll never know. All I know is, you could say after the fact what would have happened, but you never really know. What we do know is what happened. He tried to intimidate Chastain, and Chastain gave him a shot, and that's where it ends. Now, I gave Chastain credit for doing that, but we also got to be honest. He also immediately started using the bodyguard as a shield. He was pushing him and he gave him that stupid grin. So Chastain doesn't actually come out of it looking like a fucking hero. His fans think so, but to me, the winner is Chastain. Like, no, make no mistake about it. I'm sorry. That's what happened. You could say after the fact, oh, if they would have just kept going, he would have got the. We don't know that. Like, I've never seen Chastain fight before. This is all I've seen of him. And sometimes you got to be careful with people that you can't judge people based on how they look. You can't do that. I mean, trust me. So, we don't know for sure who would have gotten the better of who. All I know is what happened. And it did not. This is forever and ever. It's going to be, that bowl cut getting popped in the head. It is what you, what you saw is what you saw. Chastain would have folded Grayson like a pretzel. LOL. Yeah, look, man, we don't know. It's just, it is what it is. I hope Grayson goes after Ross again. I hope so too, because it makes for great fucking TV. But I just wish NASCAR would let these guys just give them 20 to 30 seconds. And that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but a couple of guys just going at it, 20 seconds is long enough. And it's long enough to see who got the better of who. And that's it. And then you break them up and that's it. You can't do this. You got to let these guys settle their differences and be men. Otherwise, I'm telling you now, this Gragson guy, he's immature. He's going to fucking do something stupid when he's in the car. Because he's already proven he's immature. What do you think immature person's going to do just sitting and watching social media and everybody laughing and making fun of him? And this is just it's going to stew in his head. He's not mature enough to say, let it go, focus on being a race car driver. He anointed himself the fucking, the law enforcement of the garage. He made himself that guy because he let everybody gas him up. He let all these other guys like Chase Elliott pull him aside and, hey, why don't you go kick his ass? A mature person knows they're being manipulated. And I would have said, why don't you fucking do it? You're a veteran in this series, right? You've been here long enough. If you got a problem with him, go handle it. But he let everybody get in his fucking head. And you could tell, I'm really good at reading people and body language. And that's what this whole situation came across to me. You remember in high school when two guys were having a dispute and they would get circled by all the students and other friends, and then people would be like, hit him, oh, don't take the, ooh, egging them on to fight when neither guy wants to fight. And then eventually somebody comes, or maybe they might even push one of them into the other guy, or just goad them until somebody takes a swing. That's what this feels like. It's just a more modern version, right? And that's what the sense I get from it, to be honest. All right, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, I saw Ross congratulating Hamlin, which ticked me off a little. To me, that's so phony. And like I said, just why are you congratulating Denny Hamlin? It's just, I don't know. It's something phony about it. It's like, why are you doing that? And then you could see later that when they interviewed Hamlin and showed him the footage of Chastain punching Gregson, what did he say? He told him to stop. So this is your arch nemesis, and he's almost looks like he's on Chastain's side. So maybe Chastain congratulating him. I don't know. It's like this whole thing is just. I don't like the whole mind games. It's weird. Chastain just has a weird personality. Dude freaks me out sometimes. I wouldn't trust him. Yeah, he comes across to me like a politician. You know, he's been saying sorry forever. Some people are acting like, oh, he's only been in a few incidents. This guy has been racing this way for years. He's got a bad reputation for a reason. I don't want to hear shit about people talking about how he's really not, such a bad guy. He's been driving like a fucking moron for a long time. You don't get an entire garage to hate you unless you're a fucking prick. Everybody hates him in the garage. Let's see. Ross the Boss, more like Ross the Fraud. They use him as their puppet. Yeah, they use Gregson. He's an immature kid. He looks like a high school kid that likes to drink beer and then acts stupid. That's what he looks like to me. Chastain Gregson is not over. Mark my words. Of course it's not over. Like I said, Gregson he doesn't look like the type of guy to let shit go. And I just feel like somebody else is going to come and push his buttons and say, hey man, he made you look stupid. You going to let that happen? He's not going to contain himself. It's gonna be stupid. Integro says it would be so awesome. It would be cool. Noah, I'm telling you, people are going to tune in looking for that stuff. So it's good for NASCAR. What If Racing? Welcome, man. Good to see you. Kyle Busch did it right. 2017 Vegas. Kyle walked right up to Logano and punched him. That's how you do it. Yeah. You don't. You got to cut through the bullshit. If you got a problem with somebody and you already know this, you can't talk to this guy. Logano's been a prick for many years. He's pissed off a lot of people. So talking to him, he's going to give you that goofy grin. I mean, Logano and Chastain, they have very similar personalities. You know, Joey has that real grin, with the high cheekbone grin. And it's like phony. And yeah, people like that, you could talk to them till your face turns blue. They'll say I'm sorry, they'll smile, they'll give you that goofy grin, and then they'll do it again. So you got to punch people like that in the face. You can't do what Gregson did, which is walk up to him, trying to intimidate him and grab him. Like, he deserved to get punched. You can't put your hands on somebody and then think they're not going to do something. Completely agree. What if? Bobby Birch, I want someone to give that grin a shot. I'm telling you, that fucking grin, it's like, it's just such a punchable. But you know what? I have to say, this is good for NASCAR. If NASCAR is smart, they can promote it. They are promoting it. They're posting videos everywhere. So the only thing they need to do is, you got to figure a way to just let these guys go at it a little bit, and then you break it up. You can't just... how many times have you seen me mention this, where these guys, they fake like they want to fight, and then the crews get in the way, and it's like, come on, man. It's bullshit. One good thing I could tell you, and I was going to bring this up yesterday before my fucking live stream shot the bed, but everyone else in the garage, I'm telling you now, at least now they know there's a line. If you're going to have a problem with Chastain and you're gonna do something, now you know you better just go in and swing. None of this talk. You can't talk to the guy and you can't grab the guy, because the guy's gonna punch you. And that was a good shot. I don't care what anyone says. Now, Bowl Cut takes a good shot. I will give him that. But don't downplay it. Oh, he didn't feel a thing. That was a fucking hard shot. So let's see. I wish we had an actual post race. Yeah, man, that Fox is horrible. Every fucking race, they do a couple of minutes, talk to 2 or 3 guys, and then they fucking run to whatever bullshit programming they have. Whatever happened to Victory Lane and the celebrations and all that? That's like a thing of the past now with fucking Fox. It's horrible. Their post race is the absolute worst I've ever seen in my life. It's just awful. I can't wait till we start watching races on NBC. NBC is just way better. And it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect. They have their own issues, but they are light years better than fucking Fox. So I can't wait till the Fox part of the season is over. Let's see. Did you see that Cup gets FX1 while Xfinity gets Fox? Really? Oh, next week. Wow. I didn't know that. Thanks for the heads up, Bobby. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, that's shitty, man. They keep fucking it up. Bobby Birch says, what is Ross doing? He has a bad side. Then he switches to a good side in like 10 minutes. No, he switches to his political side. He's a politician. He's a fucking politician. I respect people. If you root for people, you know, hey, I hate fucking Kyle Busch, but we're just having fun here, right? Everybody has fans. Ross Chastain's going to have his fans and defenders. My thing is this. I don't care if you want to root for a guy, but don't fucking tell me he's fucking, you know, just admit what they are and just say, hey, I don't care. And that I respect that more. But he's a fucking phony politician. Okay? And he pisses, everybody hates him. And he caused a wreck that affected his own teammate. He's just pissing everybody off. And, you know, I don't know. Cool Cat, I agree. What if you're gonna fight, then fight? Yep. I'm Andrew Rye. What's up, man? Welcome. Sup, Disco. I'm a member of iRacing now. Are you? Did you join? Hold on. If you haven't joined the league, join, or put up your name, and I'll send you an invite. Or Landon, either me or Landon will send you an invite. We need people. And all we ask is that you try to keep enough control of the car not to wreck people, but we'll see what happens. We're going to add 10 AI cars this week and see what happens. So we can't have these races anymore with like 4 or 5 people in it. And if it keeps getting worse where less and less people are racing, I don't know, man. It's just... Cool Cat, it would be good for NASCAR, but they got to stop getting in the way of it. Yeah. How about this? How about you put a fucking ring? Just a makeshift ring after every race. Anybody got a beef, you go to the ring and you call somebody out. Most of these guys don't want to fight. They'll probably run to their fucking hauler. Project 94, welcome. Standing up for wrong things that your driver does, no matter who it is, hurts the integrity of the sport. Thank you. Thank you. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I have my favorites, but when they screw up, I'm the first one to say something, right? You could still root for these people. Like, I think people forget that, hey, you could hold people accountable and still say, I'm still a fan, I'm still rooting for them, but I don't like what they did, or I don't support or agree with something they did. So that's all I'm saying. But, you know, being a sports fan, you know, fan is short for fanatic. Okay? Look that up. Being a fanatic is not really a good thing. But sports fans in general are very blind. They do tend to see things with blinders on, tunnel vision. And guys, they'll argue day and night, all day long about, you know, my guy versus your guy. I call it like I see it. I don't like either one of these guys, Chastain or Gragson. And like I said, I hope they keep fighting. They can beat the shit out of each other for all I care. I don't like either one of them, but I do think it was great television. It was great entertainment. Um, this is good for NASCAR, to be honest with you. I hope it keeps going. Okay, guys. I'm going to stick around for another 5-10 minutes. If you got any questions, bring it up, and we'll call it a night. Yeah. So this week, we're going to add 10 AI cars. I'm going to try, okay, maybe tomorrow, do some AI testing just to get an idea of where to put the AI. And the AI will start behind the actual members that race, right? So we don't want them starting in front of people. We want them starting behind everyone. Then hopefully by the time you catch them, they're spread out. We don't want to add more than 10 cars because we want to keep it manageable, and you never know. The AI could be funny sometimes. Weird shit might happen at certain tracks. We want to try to eliminate that, but we got to do something. We can't just be showing up racing 4 or 5 people. That's not good, right? So we're going to add 10 cars starting this week and see what happens, and we'll take it from there. It's a shame because, as you could see here, we have 17 total people, and people aren't showing up. If more people showed up, it would be good. So we'll wait and see what happens. Andrew says, not ready for the league right now, but thanks for the invite. Been on iRacing for a month. That's actually a smart decision. You're right. Get some time under your belt. Listen, man, if this league thing doesn't work out, I do want to thank everybody who's participated. And I am grateful that these guys have given it a go. I think at some point I'm just going to try to find a league to join. Or if anybody out there knows of a league that runs Friday nights, preferably not truck, Xfinity or Cup, if I can join, let me know. And if I do end up joining a league at some point, I'll live stream those races. So I'm just looking for something, right? On a Friday night, that's the only night that I don't want to say guarantee, but I'm pretty available. I don't want to join a league like fucking Tuesday or Wednesday night, and then there's going to be a bunch of times I may not make it. I might get stuck working. It sucks. Anyhow, I think we're good. Let's see, the league's going to work out, man. Just takes time. Listen, man, I feel like I'm trying to keep a positive outlook, but for the past couple weeks, people have been dropping out. I've been contacted by people saying, I'm sorry, this just isn't, it's not worth it. And I honestly can't blame people for walking away. Because if you join a league and it's like fucking 4 people, who can blame anybody, right? For walking. So I want people to know I'm not upset with anybody. I appreciate people that have tried and put their time in. I appreciate everyone, right? Regardless. So we'll keep trying. We'll add some AI cars and see what happens. But, at some point, a decision is going to have to be made, right? Because it's got to be worthwhile for people. Let's see. I did win a street stock race in just my 4th race. Congratulations, man. iRacing is not easy. Okay, guys. So, if I don't live stream again, I don't think I am. I'll see you guys on Friday. I will live stream the race, and we'll see what happens. So I look forward to seeing you guys Friday night. and we'll see what happens. So thanks for showing up tonight. Thank you everybody for being part of the live stream. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Have a good one.